Hello everybody, Walter here. Welcome to episode 36 of my Astronaut included Let's Play series with the Space.10 DLC, and as you might have noticed, also now with the Frosty Planet pack. Although I won't really activate the new features within this playthrough, I plan to make a new Let's Play series in the future. But with that said, let's get back to this episode here. Now, previously we started exploring the space map, and today I would like to make use of the found resources via a couple mining rockets. But before I can actually do that, I obviously need to build them and also handle fuel production. So with that said, let's jump back into the game and have a look. And we're back on the space map, since the very first key ingredient for today lies at the very bottom of Moistila, the submerged asteroid. Now the Conqueror is already in orbit, so I can directly land my two dupes here. First Gosman, and once he's on his way I can send off Ashkan. Of course, I need to wait until the first one is on his way. Next up, let's have a look on the inside here, because I still need to set this here to none, so my dupes can actually access all of this here, even if the rocket is landed. Then let's have a look on Moistila. I need to deconstruct the two Trailblazer modules. I also need to do a little bit of digging here, so I get some materials. And now I can build the rocket platform out of steel. The question is over here or over there. Yes, you know what? I'm going to place it over here. Then I need a couple ladders going up, and I should actually increase the priority of all of this here. Not overly important here, where I don't really have anything else to do, but yeah. Then, while I'm here, I might as well build a couple ladders going straight down, because as I said, I need to go to the very bottom of this map here. And that is all of this here done, more or less. Now this needs to be built, but I suspect that Gosman is just going to take a break before he is done with the rocket platform here. If we are unlucky. Yeah, that is exactly what I was afraid of. I was a little bit too slow with Gosman here. But Ashkan should have this built pretty soon. Now, while we're waiting on that, let's actually worry about our two printables. So we have Ada. Not really what I'm looking for. Another Ada. Oh, this was for bubbles. This is Ada. Also not really that useful. An Arbor Acorn or some more food for the astronauts. You know what? I'm going with the Arbor Acorn, because that is pretty much the last one that is still missing down here. So I can basically very quickly finish with the last pip farm here, or pip ranch here, and then can I activate all of those grooming stations here. But it is something for a little bit in the future. Anyway, I was on Moistila, and we are just about done with the rocket platform. So land here. And now we should see the rocket coming down. Any second now. Yeah, perfect. Let's speed this up a little bit. And we have landed. Next up, I need to exchange those two here with obsidian, just to make sure they don't melt with repeated landings and launches. And for the most part, I'm more or less done here for right now. I still need to find my way to the very bottom here, but it is something I can do more or less off screen. Just need to make sure I'm not forgetting about that in the intermediate future. But with that said, let's have a quick look on our second colony over on Duplicant here. I still need to finish up with this ranch here, or this farm here, for the astronaut food. And the first step is actually getting rid of those temporary tiles in here. And then I will have to put in a couple auto sweepers in the corresponding positions on top and below the conveyor loaders here. As well as put in a bit more carbon dioxide here. Now, I don't really have much carbon dioxide lying around, except I still think I have some frozen carbon dioxide lying around in here, so I think I'm just going to put in a storage bin around, let's say, maybe around here. And then just put in the frozen carbon dioxide and let it melt. And a few cycles later, and the farm at the bottom is done. At the top, I'm just waiting for the last pockets of oxygen to find their way out to the top there before I can close this off. But what I can already do is set those conveyor loaders here to collect everything they can. And I can also already activate the cooling. So for that, I just need to connect this whole thing here in a loop again, then just get rid of the building orders. And that is all done. And we have a water weed. Perfect. Just perfect. This means that we now have all of the water weed we will need to farm. And that means in reverse that I really should make sure that I am pretty soon done with getting the carbon dioxide out of here before I can put in the proper chlorine atmosphere. But that is something for another episode, I would say. Anyway, this is now getting cooled down. I just need to wait for the last few pockets. And then I can finish this here off. One last thing to do though is over on Albano. I need to set a cooking order for the berry sludge. And that actually has a higher priority because that is going to be the astronaut food since berry sludge doesn't spoil. I will also need to get a second cook pretty soon, I would say. But for now, let's have a look on Moistila, because over there we have reached the very bottom. So you can see I found my way down, made some side trips to other pockets of solids around, and now I'm at the very bottom. And here you can see what I'm after, the graphite. There was a little pocket of graphite already over here, but that is far from enough. I need at least a ton of that. But for now, let's dig that out. And also let's dig further down here and make our way to all of this hidden graphite here. And I might as well also get my hands on these artifacts here, which are also required for a couple achievements. So, with all of that said, let's just clear out all of the materials to be found in here. And yeah, let's get all of this here then directly into our conqueror. And here we go. Most of the graphite has now been dug out, except for a couple pockets over here and over here. So it's time, I think, to move all of this into the Conqueror. So I already ejected the oxalate from the storage bin here, so I can reuse that for the graphite, which I think is under raw materials. Yeah. And then let's see how much graphite I can actually get in here. If I can get 20 tons, that would be way more than I'm ever going to need, but we'll have to see how that turns out. And I might as well later on grab myself the fossil and the lime I dug out as well. But we have also some printables, so let's have a look what we are working with over on Albano. So let's see, we have a pilot, that might be an idea. Digger builder is not really necessary, decorator is not necessary. Our acorns I have way more than I'm going to need. So yeah, let's go with another pilot. And the next tube that comes by should hopefully be another cook. So, but first let's deal with Meep here. Meep is going to be in shift 3. He is going to do primary piloting and maybe some titting on the side. Skills, he is obviously going to be our pilot. And that's all I need to do with him for right now. Down here, okay, I should really remember to get rid of those letters here piece by piece. But for the most part, it is looking good. I can also move these here. And that's looking good. Now let's have a look at Duplicant. This is now all finished up. And I think I can actually move my builder from over here to my main colony again. So let's see, where was the... here's the teleporter. So that was Ruby dig number 2. Come on, Ruby, do your stretches on the other side. So teleport her over. Or him. And there we go. So now I have my second digger over here again. Now let's have a quick look over to the left. Still doing a little bit of replacing of those letters here, since some of them are a bit on the warmer side. Except none of them is really affected, so it's not really necessary. So I could as well close this here off, and then I can get rid of this barrier here and have at least access to this area here. I will deal with those volcanoes here at a later point. Now, with that said, let's have a look how is Moistila going. And we still have Ashkan waiting, and let's see, anyone on the way? No, Gosman is still doing other stuff like digging and building. So, yeah, we'll just have to wait until all of this here is done, and then I can look how much graphite I actually got my hands on. But with that said, let's also have a look at the space map. So we also need to send the explorer to the next tile over, and once I have it collected in the artifact from over here, I am going to send it back to the home base. Okay, that's looking pretty good so far. And you know what? I might as well work towards another achievement. For that, I'm going to need a tile here. And then I'm going to place a mini pod, let's go with igneous rock, also in this spot there. And a good while later, we now have dug out all we need. The bottom layer here isn't really interesting, so I'll leave that as is. But we have a little bit of a problem with Cosman. He is getting really stressed, and I think it's, yes, due to the low moral, so that is nothing I can do anything about right now. So let's have a quick look how much of the material do I already have. 2 tons is way more than I'm going to need. So I think I'm just going to send this rocket here back to the main asteroid, and don't really worry about the rest that's lying around. I will come back at a later point if I need more. So let's just speed this up a little bit. And launch. There we go. Rocket is on its way. And now a few last modifications in here. First, this is set to the grounded state. And then I am also going to set this here back to oxalite. And that's pretty much all we need over here. Now let's go to Dribbling first. And let's talk about this here. Also, by the way, if you're wondering, this juicy fruit here is placed in the only spot where it doesn't really get the radiation it needs as a mutated plant. That is a bit annoying, but I have more bristle blossom than I actually going to need, so it's not a real problem. Anyway, over here we now have a vacuum, so I can get rid of the pumps. I'm going to leave in the pipes for now, since I may have to change the atmosphere at a later point again. And then I will also need an output for the chlorine, so I can put that in place. And let's change the plants in to Dasha salt wine at the top there. I can deal with 5 for 1 rust deoxidizer. And then at the bottom I need the balm lilies. And those are the 2 plants that are missing, except there is also the gas grass missing, but I have to yet find the corresponding asteroid. So that is all done. Now let's have a look over on Beno. So the digging here is advancing quite nicely. By the way, if you're wondering why I'm digging from this side here, it's simple. This slide here is very hot, and if I dug out from the other side, it would actually heat up the atmosphere to hundreds of degrees and would boil my tubes. So I'm digging from the inside, then closing this off, and then digging the last layer. But the main reason I went over here is actually to start building the liquefier for oxygen and hydrogen in this corner here. So for that, I'm actually first going to get rid of this wire here, since it's a bit in the way, and then I need a couple insulated tiles. And I am wondering, do I want to have a vacuum chamber maybe on this side here? That might actually be a decent idea to have. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. Although, no, it's not really necessary. Let's leave that out. It's just unnecessary complication. So I need 2 chambers. And then I need some metal tiles out of aluminum. And those chambers actually need a double layer of insulated tiles here to the side, since I will have to get through these here and will need a little bit more space. So anyway, I will also, now that I have some more space, need to go one layer further over. And then can place the last few segments there. Then let's go up here. Then I can put in a couple liquid locks in those spots and draw a vacuum on the inside. Now it's time for a couple pumps, and for that I'm going to go with iron ore, since this will be cold and not warm. Then next up are the bridges. So first two here, and as you can see I already added a couple bridges to the cooling loop, so I can actually get through this area here with my hydrogen and oxygen. Then let's see, how do I want to play this? Yeah, let's go around in this direction here. Then on the inside I will have my cooling loop segment here. Then normal pipes up there. Then on this side here I will have a liquid reservoir feeding directly into a liquid pipe thermosensor via another cooling loop, like so, and here the same. Looks good. Then the return line goes through here and through here. I will also need a hydro sensor in those spots, and then under gases I'm going to need a high gas pressure vent. Yeah, let's place it in this corner directly. That looks good. Then next up, a couple temp shift plates out of diamond. One here, one. Let's go just in the zigzagging pattern like so. That looks good. And we're almost done with the chambers. Now I need a couple gas shutoffs to control the gas flow for the hydrogen and the oxygen. Connect those with those outputs, and we have an overheat warning. Let's finish this up and then let's have a look about that. I will also need some power for those. So first let's start with the power transformer up there. And that should be enough power. Yeah, that is definitely enough. So connect the power up there, and then I have a wire running down the back here, and another wire running through the wall here. That looks good, at least if disconnected. Now I need some automation wire. The first connects this one here and this one here to the shutoff. Then I have this one here and this one here, which will later on control the cooling for these two. But now, with that done, let's have a look at the overheat. So this is overheating. Why is this overheating? Where am I? Wait. That. Okay, I know what's happened. I'm getting 200-degree hot liquid nuclear waste from my nuclear reactor here regularly, and if I go in here you can see the next few bits of that, and that is actually overwhelming my cooling system and even melted through one of those hot bolt joint plates. Fortunately it didn't completely flood my entire base in, what's this, 361 tons of liquid nuclear waste at very high temperatures. That is definitely not something I want in my base. Okay, so how do I fix that? Okay, first I need to cool this down ASAP. So let's make a temp shift plate out of ice in this spot. And then I'm going to place some radiant pipes over here, as well as put in a couple metal tiles Not there. Later on in this spot too, to improve heat transfer a bit more. Yeah, that is definitely something I need to do. And I also need to get in here and replace this one here, especially before anything here goes wrong and it decides to move all of this here over. Yeah, that will be a bit tricky, although it should be possible by getting in through here, I would suspect. Yeah, but I need to make sure all of this here is fixed properly, and at some point I will also have to add a cooling system, and yeah, I definitely have enough space for that. So I might actually want to do this as soon as possible. And yeah, of course, my tubes are getting scalded over here since the air itself is already much too hot. So I really need to prioritize the ice here. Yeah, that is definitely the most important part. So let's very quickly get our hands on this situation, and then I will continue with the other projects. And my Radbold generator is repaired for the most part. I decided against going in from the top when I looked at this radiation here. Yeah, that's 100 rads per second for a tube standing in there. I really don't want my tubes to die after 5 seconds, so I decided to go in from this side here, and it worked out quite nicely. Let's just set this here in the correct direction, and now I can reconnect the power wire here, and that should work as intended again. But I still need to worry about this here overheating. As you can see, the water I have placed in here is already getting warmer and warmer. So I really, before I do anything else, need to deal with that situation. And I think I'm just going to put in a single steam turbine cooling system with an aqua tuner in this spot right here. And that looks like a decent start. I'm putting in a bypass so I can properly build this up. And then once I have my steam turbine in place with the cooling system for the steam turbine, I should be able to cool down the liquid nuclear waste. But over here we are close to melting through the plastic again, especially since I replaced the ice, or I'm just about to replace the ice. Yeah, we really need to worry about this, but first we have something to print out, so let's have a look what we can select from. So we have Liam with rocketry and decorating, not really what I need. Bubbles with cooking, that might be a decent idea. Brine, not really necessary. Decorating supply. You know what? I'm going for my second cook. That is very useful. So, let's just stop for a moment. So, not consumables. Schedule. Bubbles gets into shift 3. Then priorities for bubbles is cooking. That's basically it. Skills, she gets cooking. And we're good to go with her. But as I said, I still need to deal with this situation over here. And in a sense, I'm considering just getting rid of the nuclear waste for now in a more permanent way. So let's see. This is a decent bit of way to go upwards. Maybe it's closer up here. Also not really that close. Yeah, you know what? Let's quickly stop, and then I am going with the highest priority. Going to run the pipe up here, through here, and then I'm just going to vent this to the outside. Should have done this a bit earlier, but that way I'm just, I'm wasting the nuclear waste, but I should hopefully, if I'm fast enough, keep this here from melting, and until at least I have the cooling system over here functional. And here we go, the crisis should now be averted with the cooling system running, which is already cooling down its first bit of nuclear waste. Of course, since this is still heating up, I'm not sure what temperature this will come out at in the end, but I suspect it's somewhere around 170 degrees or so, maybe even a bit lower. But I should be able to handle this, especially since I added another temp shift plate over here, which greatly increases the amount of heat that can actually be transferred from inside here to the part that's actually cooled down. Now, with that said, let's have a look to our molecular forge. Of course, we now have graphite, which means we should be able to make some fullerene, except we're still missing the sulfur. So let's see. I think I've moved that over to Duplicants since it's fertilizer for some plants. Sulfur. And yeah, I think Ruby here is just about to move that in manually. Of course, the autosweeper could do this, but since my dupes are more or less idling over here, they also occasionally decide to do things like that. Okay, so sulfur is being moved over, and once I have some fullerene, I can turn this into super coolant. Right at the top there, together with gold and petroleum, both of which I have way more than I'm going to need. At least I hope. I may have to grab myself a bit of that petroleum here. Maybe turn off one of these power generators at the top there and put in the overflow into storage over here. Do I have a direct bypass? Not yet. I could potentially add a bypass. Should I do that? Might be an idea. Yeah, let's add a bypass just to be on the safe side for now. And then in here. Then the connection down there. Going in here, that should be the one for... Yeah, petroleum. That's the correct one. Then over here. Priority in this direction, then the lower priority in this direction. Connection there. Then I need to just cut this off in there. And should be able to turn off one of these here manually in just a few moments. And here you can see the petroleum already flowing, 2 kilograms per second, and that should be a decent amount for now, I hope. And pretty soon we should see the fullerenes being produced and then turned into super coolant. And what we're going to do with that, we see once we have more of that. Anyway, let's start getting the rocket here ready to go again. First I need to clear out those artifacts here. The target I think I already selected. Yep, for now I'm going in the northeast direction. And that means I can begin with the launch. Okay, so this rocket here will remain until I have a new target. For now at least. But next up, let's actually build the rockets here so I know where the pipes need to go. So I'm going with the hydrogen engine. On top of that, a space farer module. On top of those, I need a liquid oxidizer tank. Then on top of that, a large liquid fuel tank. And then another one. And that are the parts that I need specifically right now to figure out where everything goes. So let me very quickly copy the setup once more. I'll finish those rockets here in a moment, but for now I need to figure out where the pipes go. And since this is again within the heated parts, I'm going with obsidian for the pipes. Now, I will have water and I will have a liquid oxygen and liquid hydrogen over there. Let's start with the liquid hydrogen, which goes from down there, then up, all the way over here, down, down, and connects over here. Then I have the liquid oxygen, which goes in a similar way, just like so. That works out relatively decent. I will have to add a few ladders later on to get everything where it's needed. And now for the water, I'm going with a similar system to what I did before. So I will have a loop that goes through in the bottom here, just like in this here. Now for the pipes up here, I'm adding some temporary gantries so my tubes can actually reach the very middle without me fiddling around with the rockets here. While we are on the subject, let's add the last few missing modules. First, I'm going to need a large gas cargo and then a large cargo. And then finally a drill cone. And that should be all for this rocket here. And the same is true for this one here. So let's quickly add in the missing parts. And this one, and then the last drill cone. Now, last part, for now at least, is adding the names. So this will be my hydrogen miner 1. And this one here will be my miner H2. Okay. Then, let's continue over here. So first of all, I can close off these modules here since I'm done with them. Furthermore, I can start working on the cooling system for those two. So this will be 3 steam turbines and 2 aqua tuners with a vacuum chamber on the side. So this is the first vacuum chamber, then the one at the top there. I will also have to, of course, add a couple tiles. So this is the bottom one. Igneous rock is definitely enough here. Don't need anything fancy here. So this is the steam chamber. So I am adding the 3 steam turbines up to this spot here. Then closing this off here. This keeps open for now. Going to add a temporary ladder so I can get in. Over here I'm going to add some normal tiles, and then let's add one more there, and then 2 more so I get a functional liquid lock, because I want a vacuum in here. Then let's add a couple pipes, and then down there so I can add a vent. Then let's add one more there, and let's already add one more here for the cooling later on, which will go just through here. So then let's grab ourselves a couple aqua tuners. One will go there, the other one will go there. They will be controlled via these wires here. So this one controls the one at the back, and the one at the front is controlled by this one. Then I need the bridges, and here I'm actually going to use ceramic since this will get very cold with the super coolant. Then the same for the pipes. This is the input. Yeah, that works quite nicely. Then the output goes at the top there, so I'm just going to go straight down. For this one here, let's start with the output. All the way over there, then over here, and then straight in there. And this one here will have to go, yeah, let's go down there. Then let's make a break here. Let's go down with a bridge there, and then let's add another bridge over here. That should be all of the pipes in place, I suspect. Yeah, that looks good so far. Now obviously I need a vacuum, so let's keep some space there. And I will also need a couple liquids in there later on. Last part missing is the power. So let's grab ourselves some of that wire here. Connecting here, and then connecting there. That should be all I need for right now. And we just got our first few bits of super coolant, so let's have a quick look at our molecular forge. Yep, lying around just here, 200 kilograms already. Very nice to see that. All I needed to do is increase the priority so my tubes actually move the materials over there. So, but with that now fixed, let's actually make use of that. And the first thing I need to do is prime one of these here with the super coolant, and let's quickly look which one it is. This one would be the correct one, and that is the top one. So what I now need to do is, first of all, snip this off down here, and then add these two here with the highest priority, and then all I need to do is get the super coolant into the pipe down here. But let's for now just cut this off, so I'm not wasting the super coolant while these here are not in place yet. And here we go, we're ready to roll. So let's just connect this pipe here, and then let's speed this up a little bit. And we should see this being moved in the correct pipe down here. Very nice to see that. Then I can reconnect here. This is now primed. I don't need to worry about this at all. Actually, I don't need this here right now. I may need this later on if I get some visco gel, but not for this one here. And why do I have that many of these lying around? That is really annoying. Yeah, someone should come by and deal with the outhouse. My goodness. I mean, I already added a deodorizer, but this is just crazy here. Yeah. Anyway, we are still having to deal with the super coolant. So now the rest is pretty simple. All I need to do is make sure the super coolant is moved into the bottle emptier and then finds its way to the bottom there. Very, very simply. And that is already the entire secret. Now let's finally have a look at what we can print out. We have some brine, we have builder I don't need. I could potentially use another rancher. Why not? Yeah, why not? Let's go with another rancher just to be on the safe side. So schedule. Yeah, I still have some space in shift number 3. Priorities for other are ranching and farming, and then skills. Obviously, Ada needs to get a improved farming first. Okay, that's looking good. And while on the subject, I still need to finish with the farm down here, but I think I can now actually turn these on and start taming all of these pips here. Shouldn't be much of an issue doing that right now. Yeah, that needs to be done next. Now, this over here is going to take a while still, and I think this is actually something for the next episode. We got a bit distracted and delayed with the whole base melting problematic. Over here, you might have noticed I'm done with the plants already, so I'm just waiting on the gas grass, but those are a bit harder to deal with since they need actually liquid chlorine, and yeah, I will have to make a chlorine liquefier a bit later. But as I said, this is something I'll finish in the next episode. And with that, we've reached the actual end of this episode. I hope you enjoyed. Please like, share, and comment if you did so. It really helps with the algorithm. Independent of that, I wish you a nice day, and well, see ya!